Hello friends, and welcome back to CES 2023. We're going to be covering all the stuff that I saw today, which is awesome, and all the stuff that I saw today that isn't awesome. I mean, some is awesome, some isn't awesome. That's kind of how it goes. But, right out of the gate, I went to the automotive section today. Now you might be thinking, hey, that's kind of cool. Did they have awesome stuff there? Well, before we got to the automotive section, I want to talk about the Hypertunnel tube. Hypertube? The Tesla Hyperlink tube. The Hyper URL. No, that's the other thing. The tunnel for Teslas. They made a tunnel for Teslas. The one that Elon Musk wanted to put all over California. So, I went into the Hyperloop thing and was immediately stopped dead because the car in front of me decided to stop for no particular reason. It just sat there for like a good 5 minutes. The person in my car who was driving, quote unquote, says, oh, there must have been something in the tunnel. It's like, no, there's not. We could see into the tunnel. We can confirm that there was nothing in the tunnel. It's very obvious, in fact, that the tunnel was quite empty. So, right out of the gate, that was the experience of the Hyperloop. Not optimal. It is... Yeah, if you're not familiar with it, the concept is that it is a Tesla-only tunnel, or rather a self-driving car-only tunnel, that can quickly transport people from point A to point B. Sort of like a train, except without the train, and you have to buy the Teslas. It's not a great idea, as we saw immediately. It was used to connect two different parts of the convention center, and I got dropped off at the wrong one. So, what did I do? I went to the convention center. And I'm going to be following the same format as last time, where I'm going to be adding images and resizing them on the fly, just because, well, that made the most sense. The big industry sections were where I tackled today. I can't do a lot with the big industry sections, neither as my business or, like, personally. Like, there's just stuff here that is untouchable, right? I'm not going to be doing business with LG. Jade the Kobold is not going to be able to work with something like LG directly. That's kind of a big ask. But we saw a bunch of... I say we, but it really was just me. It's a train, but what if walking was more efficient than the train? Yeah, that's about right. That actually checks out. Yeah, that tracks. There was a lot of neat automotive stuff. Now, I don't really get cars. Like, I don't get the concept of cars. I don't know what people see in cars. I genuinely kind of don't. Cars are like... I don't know. To me, they're a tool of necessity, not a tool of enjoyment. Some people love cars, and I respect that. But if I want to go somewhere for fun, then I'm taking a motorcycle. If I want to go somewhere just to get there, then I'm taking a car. And we saw... I'm going to keep on saying we because it's you and me. You, chat, and I are going to be with this together. I'm going to keep on saying we. Dang it, I'm doubling down now. I'm committing to it. We, you and I, chat, we saw this. That's how this works now. I've decided it. And this is just the first one that I saw. It has a weird crane on it that I genuinely don't quite understand what it was for. But the idea is the battery. There's a lot of battery-powered vehicles that we saw. And a lot of buses. Who likes a bus? Everyone likes a bus. This is one concept that I saw a lot, especially over the course of the past couple of years I've seen repeated, is this idea of a bus that can hold multiple people, but only takes up a fairly small road profile, but is very open. Like, look at this. This is more of the consumer side one, where it's just a fully automated vehicle that doesn't need any person, it doesn't need any input, and it just goes from point A to point B, and you capitalize on that space just by making it entirely open, just by making it entirely free and easy to walk around. I like this idea. I remember when I had a car that didn't have one of those center consoles in it, where the area between the front seat and the passenger front seat was an open floor, and you could just set stuff down there. You could carry stuff in the car more easily. All modern cars have a giant console in the middle of it that sort of isolates you from the open space in the car. And I don't like that trend. I like this idea, even if it is sort of, just in this weird tech setup. I like this new trend of encouraging open space, of capitalizing on the openness that you can have in a vehicle like this. Now, this one in particular was actually a project for some people at, I don't remember which college, but they designed and manufactured as a part of their final exam this entire vehicle. And I think they did a fantastic job. Did I get an outside shot? I did not. Oh well. But the idea is that you have so much space. These seats can move forward or back. You can add in some bars so that some people can, stand there as well. You can add in a ton of storage space. And if you don't need somebody sitting in a driver, then you don't need someone facing forward. Facing backward is probably safer anyways in a crash incident, because your head is going, your body parts are going to immediately be going against your seat, which has its cushioning on it. You are probably a lot safer facing backwards. Now, you haven't had a whole lot of cars that encourage backward seating. Back in my day, yeah, I'm allowed to say that now. Back in my day, you had like station wagons where you had the back two seats were facing the rear and still had seat belts, and that was a thing. It's the only vehicles I can think of offhand that actually had backwards facing seats. Intentionally. I mean, once in a while you'll have a car that accidentally has a backward facing seat, but usually that's after it has an accident, so that probably shouldn't count. I'm not going to count that. There also is an F1 car here. Fully automated F1 car. I think that this is interesting. F1, I don't know much about F1 racing. I know almost nothing about it. But what I do know is that the cars need to be very low to the ground, and that they're very particular about the weight. And if you can remove, 150 pounds of sack of water out of the middle of the car, the driver, that's probably a really good idea. This could probably put down some amazing times. I don't know how it moves, if this is fully automated or if it's AI driven, as in if it's remote controlled. I have no idea. I didn't actually get to inquire to the individuals there. What I do know is that it went vroom. Okay, so then let's go back to these cars. Once again, we see open space being the keystone. This doesn't have the sidewalls of the car, but look at all this beautiful open space in here. The driver sits here, there's a soda thing here, there's a seat here, there's an option for another seat, or you can put like an ottoman there. And I love the idea of this. If you don't need to have a dozen seats in the car, then why not make the luxury car actually feel like a luxury car? Why not make the area feel comfortable just to exist in? This makes sense to me. This just makes sense. And also hello to everybody who's watching. You're all wonderful beings, and I appreciate you. Hello Hensha, hello Tuzzy, hello Timothy, and hello Ripley. And hello to everybody else who's watching right now, or who's watching the VOD, or who's doing both. I don't know. Hi. Yeah. I love this idea. This concept just makes sense to me. If you don't need too many people, let the car be comfortable. Let the car have open space. I like this idea. Now, most of these are concept cars. Most of these are cars that will never actually reach the market. This is a common thing. People design these ridiculous, out-of-the-world vehicles that will never hit the market because, well, they are just designing something fancy for a trade show, which this is. They're designing for the trade show. Is the Toyota Bushaku going to exist? Probably not. At least not in its current form. At least not anytime soon. But you know what? I'm here for when it does. Like, look at that design. Look at how comfy that is. I have a better picture. Look at that. beautiful, spacious interior. I think that's very nice. Yes, this is inside of the car. You have a TV screen. You can just sit and watch TV from inside the car. And why not, right? If you're spending that much money on a car, why not spend the extra, like, $400 for a 50-inch screen? If you're not driving it, you don't need to bother with it. You could just sit back and watch a movie. Imagine taking an hour drive into the city and just watching an episode of Stranger Things on the way. Or, like, whatever Netflix show you want to watch. Or, like, whatever... Watch a stream. Hey, you could watch me while you drive. I like this idea. The idea that being in a car is a recreational thing as opposed to something that requires all of your attention, otherwise you die, I think is a good idea. Now, again, this could also be solved by being a train. Everything in automotive could be solved by being a train. This is always true. You could always just have a trolley. But sometimes you don't have access to a trolley. Still in the automotive section, this bicycle. Now, I don't quite know how this works, but they said that it has traction control and acceleration control, so that you always have a smooth ride. This just looks like a bicycle. At first I thought it was an e-bike, one of those electrically powered assisted bikes, but it is not. It's genuinely not. It's just a bicycle. Unfortunately, I didn't have the ability to ride it around. I didn't have the ability to take it out for a spin. So all I can do is say, it's kind of a neat bike. That it has traction control, which I suppose would be very useful, especially on a commuter bike, especially if you're riding through the city. I did twist the handlebar a little bit just to see if it would turn to see if it was a powered assist, and then the people who were managing the bike that sort of made fun of me behind my back, saying, "Look, they couldn't tell it was a push bike just because it has pedals," and I'm like, you're the only person who has a bike here that isn't electric. This is a tech show. What? It's fine. It's fine. It looks like a nice bike. Honestly, I like it. Now, this bike is a little bit more my speed. This is more the kind of bike that I would like. I actually got to hop on this thing. It didn't go anywhere, obviously. But this is an electric sports bike. There's a couple of these. And... hold on. Didn't I take a thing with a thing? No, I did not take a thing with a thing. Okay. I did not have a picture of the spec sheet. I thought I might. I did not. Oh well, tragic. So, the idea of this is it's an electric motorcycle that can travel up to 160 miles per hour, which I believe is like 220 kilometers an hour, with a range of 150 miles, which is pretty good for an electric bike. But what really caught my eye is the curb weight. The curb weight is only 600 pounds, which is what? Like 300 kilo, I guess, a little less. That's really good, because with a motorcycle, you really do care about the weight. The weight of the vehicle is going to be extremely important to your ability to have fun with it, to your ability to move it and be maneuverable with it. Unless you have like some giant Harley that weighs as much as the sun, you're going to be conscious about how much your bike weighs. And one curse of electric motorcycles for most of their existence has been that they simply weigh too much. They're simply too bulky. They're so beefy, and they need to be less beefy. This one actually seems to fit that bill. I don't know how. It's not like we have any way of, really new breakthroughs in battery capacities per size, but they managed somehow. Pardon me. They managed somehow to get the weight on this very much down, very much lower than I would have expected. And it's a sleek design. Yeah, it's a very cool cyberpunk style design. It looks nice, it looks cool, it looks fun. I would definitely ride that. The price point is reasonable for what it is. They're looking at like 7 to 8K, which is high for a motorcycle. You can get a used motorcycle for like $1,000. and have it be an amazing motorcycle. That's not going to be the case with this. This is neat. Okay, here's the first thing. I don't know cars. This is the first thing I can really talk about. Check this out. This is a tire. So what this is a very strong material, but this around the outside is all flexible. The entire outside is this twisted wire frame that just wraps around the edge and is held in by tension, to the other side of the frame. This is the same kind of tires that are used on lunar and Martian tires. You have traction simply because of the nature of this here. You have stability because of the flexible nature of this material is going to emulate what we have in an inflated tire. No air required, no inflation required, and no way to puncture it. Now, this is going to be expensive, and if you do put your bike down for a nap, then this is going to be extremely shattered, and you're going to need to be replaced completely. But this is a cool idea. I love this design. Oh, what the heck? Huh. I have a bunch of mark on my hand from something. Who did that? Huh, I have no idea. Hi, how's it going? Yeah, I still don't have hand tracking right now because, well, quite literally the reason I don't have hand tracking right now is my computer, my laptop that I'm streaming on right now because I'm in Vegas, doesn't have enough USB ports for my hand tracker. I'm going to fix that later this week, so if I stream later this week, I will have access to all of my hopes and dreams. But for now, you don't get hand tracking. And we're all just going to have to live with that. We're all just going to have to deal with that. So. This is a Mario Kart ripoff. Now, they're talking about an automotive platform with all this stuff here. HDMI connect. It's a Raspberry Pi. It's a Raspberry Pi designed for automotive use. But here's the thing, and they made this little knockoff Mario Kart thing, right? And you have to press X on the control pad to accelerate. The top button. You need to press this button up here to accelerate. Not A or B, not the trigger so you actually have the resistive motion so you can partially accelerate. You actually have to press the X button on the top of the controller. And I don't know what exactly they're selling here. I don't know how this is particularly well, designed for automotive use, but I can't trust any company that makes a player use the X button to accelerate on a kart game. That makes no sense. That might sound silly, that might sound extreme, but the fact of the matter is true. If they don't understand why A or trigger are used for acceleration, then they don't understand how user experience and user interfacing. If they don't understand user experience and user interfacing, then they're not going to be able to make a good, usable product that's going to make the end user comfortable. So it might sound like I'm memeing, but I genuinely am saying this. If they are going to put that control scheme on their product, then I'm comfortable in saying that they are not good at design. Yeah, I mean, it's coming from a person who has experience in game design, but still, I was very disappointed in what they created. Basically is what it boils down to. You agree? Okay, good, it's not just me. Okay, cool. This is kind of cool. This place right here has rear view mirrors, basically. These are little cameras that can monitor the outside of a car. Whether it's a rear view or whether it's a dash cam or whether it's for AI integration. The big gimmick that they have is water resistance. Is that when the lens gets wet, it self-cleans. Not like a little windshield wiper, it actually buffs out a puff of air that clears the section, allowing it to continue to, frankly, to work. That allows it to continue to keep on recording. I think this is neat. It works well, and they actually had the live feed of both of them, and yeah, one of them was completely, the one on the right was completely illegible. It was just completely unseeable. Whereas the one on the left would go from being partially illegible to being perfectly crisp again because of that, well, just a little, real simple mechanical puff of air that blasted and cleaned out the optics. Someone told me today that I needed to check out Razer, because Razer had a really good sound chair, 7.1 surround sound chair. I didn't see Razer today. I don't know why, I just never actually got to see Razer. But I did see this. And this chair has multiple speakers in it, here, here, and here. I think was one in the seat as well. And the same speakers that they're using to push the audio out is also pushing haptics, is also pushing vibrations. So you have 7.1 surround sound vibrations. And they were marketing this as a seat that could go into a car. Yep, they had another version as well, but they were saying that this could be, they'd integrate it into a car seat. And it's like, that's weird. Why? I like it. It's a good design. It really did sound good. And I like that idea. I would just sit this in my chair at home. I would just make this my chair. The only problem is that, I can't really fold my legs into it, which, well, could be a problem. But it sounded very good, and it really did trigger that surround sound, which is very important. Now, many of the places that I saw today were big. Big companies doing big company things. Like, here's one name occurs. I have no idea who this company is, but they had an enormous showroom, which you can see part of through here. They had built up these walls around the entire showroom, and they had a little hidden component compartment where they did business. Hidden inside the showroom, there were these blank doors that lead to these employees-only areas. I just thought it was neat. I just snuck this picture. I just kind of took this picture while I was looking away with my, with my camera at a lower angle. It's like, I basically just I spy movied it. I spy movied that the picture for this. I regret nothing. But yeah, there's a little bit of behind the scenes of what that looks like. What's with the weight sneakers? I have no idea. I did not ask. I did not ask them about their sneakers. Maybe I should have. Next time, okay, next time I'll ask them about their sneakers. Don't worry, I got you. Here we can see another car vehicle. Likewise, we can see that these trend towards more open space. The idea that this isn't entirely enclosed out, I like. You can put something down here, you can just stretch your leg out there if you need to deal with a cramp or something. I feel like in many situations this would feel better than the alternative. Also, this tablet here looks replaceable, and I'm a big fan of replaceable parts. I feel like that would give you a much... you wouldn't have to replace the entire car if one component died, right? You could actually replace that part conveniently and possibly even on your own. I don't believe that, because the trend of the industry has consistently been towards the opposite of that, but you know what? I can hope, okay? I can have a little bit of hope. There was a new Jeep Wrangler they had there. I don't know why. I don't know what they are doing new on a technical level, right? That's always what my ask is what are you doing that's unique and interesting? What are you doing with CES that is unique and interesting? And I don't know. I mean, the only thing I see here that's different from any other Jeep that I've seen is that this knob is a bit bigger, and I guess if you want to hold on to a bigger knob, you have that option. But, aside from that, this just looks like a generic Jeep. Maybe some Jeep aficionado can clue me in onto what's new and exciting here, but it's a Jeep. We'll get into more wild tech stuff in a bit, but to start out with, it's a Jeep. Likewise, it's It's a car. I present to you a car. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing here on this one, folks. I'm just doing my best. Actually, you know, I do have another picture here that I want to show. Because they had a little video on in the background that I thought was more interesting than the vehicle. In the background of this car video thing, they had this weird anthro video that they were showing of these characters riding in their car. It's like, why? What is this about? I mean, sure, it's kind of cool, but like, I don't know. They put their budget into that, and I guess I respect it. I guess I have to respect it. That's upside down. You want to see a big truck? They actually drove this out into the event area. Look at this truck. It's a big truck. I don't know. like, and you could go up onto it and stuff. It's like, okay, neat, I guess. Cool. If you like big trucks, then this was definitely one. This is a tech conference. I'm looking for new and exciting bursts of technology. I'm looking for new and beautiful technologies that I can understand what is conceptually new and understand what is exciting about the industry that goes into it. And that's just not what I got here. I should probably skip the car stuff at first and gone back to it later. But I'm just doing it in the order that I saw things. This was kind of interesting, though. This is somebody who was actually live controlling construction equipment. This backhoe? Excavator? What's this thing called? Hey, what's this thing called? I forget what that's called. This was actually being controlled live by the connection here at the show floor. And anybody could sit down and use it. Anybody could sit down and try to use this construction equipment. I like this idea. The idea is very sound, and the idea is basically, hey, we don't need to have the operator on site. And there's a lot of things that you could be mining for that would have a lot of contaminants in the air. You could have several mines that are dangerous, right? That people shouldn't or couldn't work at. And say, hey, we can roll in the construction equipment to help clear out some of the debris. We can bring in this into an asbestos mine and safely have an operating vehicle to clean it, to set it up, to reconfigure things. I love this idea. I think that it's a fantastic idea. I don't know how well it's going to be implemented, and I don't know if it'll be actually used for the amount I'm thinking it is, but you know what? It is a cool idea. They had one set up in... This one was set up in Arizona. I forget what the other one was set up, but they had two different ones here that you could actually sit down and operate. I didn't, because I don't care. I'm sorry. It's not my thing, but like I respect it. It's cool, and it is a technology, and it is an application of. It's good. It's good. Okay, it's good. It's fine. It's good. Here's a car. Hold on. I would like to present to you the Desert Beaver. I don't know why they call this the Desert Beaver, but I giggle at it because it sounds funny. So this is a electric pickup truck. I think that the idea of an electric pickup truck is kind of strange because the whole reason that pickup trucks exist in the United States is because they made them bigger so that they could ignore emissions laws. So that people are driving things that are functionally classified as work trucks so that they can still ignore emissions laws. And I mean, they've sold that on an entire nation, and it's spilled over into the surrounding nations, so it is what it is. No, that's true. Look it up. That's actually why large pickup trucks exist, is because they are exempt from a lot of the green carbon emissions requirements that similar vehicles have. If they were smaller, if they weighed less, then they wouldn't need to be sold, right? If they weighed less, they wouldn't be exempt from these emissions. But this is cool as heck. This thing I adore. This thing I love. This is an electric cargo bike. Look at the size of this thing. A payload of over 500 pounds. Top speed of 51 miles an hour. 15 rather. Which is plenty for simple city work. Here's a picture of the inside. This is a bicycle. This is, no making a mistake, this is a pedal bike. You can see right here, pedals. It's assisted with electronics, of course it is. But like, this is fantastic. Would love to see this going around a city. It's cheap, it doesn't require any gas, you can recharge on any electric station, and it has all the eco-friendliness of an e-bike with the actual capacity of a small delivery vehicle. I like this. I think this is a good piece of technology. I really hope to see these in cities. You know what I mean? And also, I regret to inform you that forklift certifications are now obsolete. Nobody needs to actually use a forklift anymore, because this thing will handle it for you. It will pick up a pallet and put it on itself and truck it around the warehouse for you. So if you are forklift certified, I regret to inform you that you are now out of a job. Or you will be shortly. This is coming for your jobs, and we should all welcome it and praise it. Sing praise to our robot overlords, for they are come. And we'll be talking about AI singularities later on, don't worry. No, really, we will. Okay, so this is a bus. One sec. Here's a bus. We have managed to finally succeed at inventing a way of transporting several people around a city. Some people might call it a trolley. Some people might say that we're reinventing things that were invented, 100 years ago. And they'd be right, but you know what? This is different, because this is electric. No, wait, trolleys were electric too, because they had the electric conduits. This is different, because this can hold multiple people sitting and standing. No, wait, trolleys could do that too, dang. Wait, hold on, I got this. This is different, because it doesn't need to go around a set path. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this is like a trolley, except that you're going to have it on a set path anyways, because it's supposed to transport people around a city on a set schedule, so... It's a trolley. It's a trolley. It's a trolley. It's just a trolley. It's a nice trolley. It's a good trolley. I think it's a fantastic trolley. I'm happy with this trolley. I don't know what this is. I saw this. I thought it looked kind of cool, so I took a picture of it. But we have some futuristic sci-fi, like, Cosmos-style spaceship of your imagination thing going on here. I think that they're showing off their work in design on the console interior? I think? I don't know. I genuinely haven't the gaming boat. I would get in the gaming boat. I would love to get in the gaming boat. That sounds fantastic. I don't know what this thing is. But it's cool. It's neat. But the other thing that really struck me about that thing is that it had water around it. They actually put a water feature around the product for no particular reason. They brought just a little reflecting pool section into the Las Vegas Convention Center. Inside the convention center. they just had these puddles. It's like, oh my goodness, I feel terrible for whoever had to set this up, and whoever is going to have to strike this, and for all the electronics that are potentially going to be getting wet, as countless people who are attending the trade show walk by, and just someone's got to have stepped in it by now, right? Someone's got to have stepped in that by now, guaranteed. If they didn't, then, well, someone should. Okay. I talked last time about people making Vroids. Remember that? We talked about that? Secure papa. Itty-pit, itty-pitty. You know, I'm just gonna skip that thing. It's weird. Okay. No, I'm not gonna skip it. Here. This is just motion capture. As somebody who uses motion capture on a regular basis, I'm using it right now. This is kind of pathetic. They have just a avatar, this little big hairy thing that just had hair on it, and not really well rendered hair. Just like tubes, like tube style hair all across it. It was weird. It was super awkward. And yeah, it just cloned the motion. It was basically a Connect. And like, oh, this is AI driven. It's like, okay, it doesn't need to be. Why is it AI? Why does it need to be AI driven? Why are you making it AI driven? What's the goal here? Why are you doing this? I don't know. But we're getting into some cool stuff now. Now we're getting into cool stuff. There was a lot of LiDAR. LiDAR is the ability to point a laser at something and tell how far away it is. And by having it go around in either a circle or in having multiple sensors, you can create a map of the area. This right here is a LiDAR map of an intersection. Everything around here, this point, you can see how far away it is, and you can create a 3D map of the surrounding area. And this is the technology that all AI-driven cars use, because this is what tells you how far away things are. Stereoscopy doesn't actually tell you that much when it comes to automotive, certainly not reliably and fast enough. So, this company is using LiDAR to create this map. And here we can see the incredible application. You see they have... As you can see here, they have a TV screen that's being captured by a motion sensor and projecting it to another TV screen. It's a silly setup. But what it's doing is this camera is looking at this and trying to translate it into something that will map a LiDAR output. So it's LiDAR that doesn't require lasers. It's a neat idea. It's a neat concept, and I'm glad to see that people are working on it. Okay, now let's go off of the automotive section. We're done with the automotive section. We're not done with the automotive section. We're done with the automotive section for now as we go into e-bikes. So this company, whose name eludes me, this Cooler, apparently makes stabilization devices. They can stabilize just about anything that rotates, is what they say. They've done work for military devices, for military helicopters, and now they're taking their military tech and applying it to just other things. They're applying it to drones. They're applying it to electronic bicycles, with having big charging walls of batteries that are easy and modular that can be used in multiple things. The idea is that it increases stability and gives you a better imaging if you're on drones, and gives you better traction control on bicycles. It's a cool idea. Also, these are just like really nice little e-bikes. And apparently with the modularity of it, this right here, it wasn't actually their e-bike. They didn't make this bike. They just reconfigured a couple things so that they could fit in their battery pack. With the idea being that you can have a wall of battery packs charging, like this one here, and then each of these battery packs can be used for different things inside your home. Now, a regular home probably wouldn't need this many, but you can have one for your lawnmower. You can have another one for your leaf blower. You can have one for your e-bike. You can swap them and separate them based on your needs at any given moment. And they are big. They're, you know, the size of a good chunk of your arm. But the idea of them being able to just go into anything is really a nice idea, right? That's a pleasant idea. It's a cool thing to think of, is basically what I'm saying. Basically what I'm saying. Okay, this next one is a picture of nothing. And that's intentional. Okay, so what this is needs to be explained. This device right here, is sending information to this device here by lasers. They're able to get lasers that can have a gigabit speed connection. This is something that used to not be possible. Usually if you wanted to send information by light waves and you didn't have a direct connection, you were kind of limited heavily based on air filtration and because any contaminants in the air disrupt it. They disrupt the ability for you to send information. It's basically the equivalent of packet loss. Every time a dust particle flies through the line of sight, then you lose packets of information. And the goal of this is to send information across, you know, dozens of kilometers of space, and that is critical that you keep up a stable connection. And it's back. There we are. The more bandwidth you choose, the more information that you try to shove through this, the more delicate each packet is. Each little component of data is going to be smaller, and thus a dust mote getting in the way is going to block more and more of the information. What they did is they made a heat laser. It's a laser that shoots infrared particles. And because it's shooting infrared, it's going to ignore most, not all, but most, there we go, most but not all of the interference. And then by combining that with some other technologies that are, you know, their own and proprietary, they can give a stable connection speed between these two devices in the capacity of like a gigabit, which is huge. That's massive. That's enormous. It's enormous and huge. See here. Next thing is pretty cool. Check this out. Okay, here. All right. You can see it. You can see this thing here. Actually, wait, hold on. That's not a great picture. This is a better picture. It's actually, this is what we're looking at. We're not actually looking at the motorcycle. Like, see, the motorcycle's here, but that's just an example. What we're looking at, is this. This is a universal charging port. That they are actually doing a contest of and giving away. But the idea here is that this device functions both as a generator and as a battery pack for anything between your house, your vehicle, and anything that needs a charging port. They make EV connections. They make these connections that connect into various products, and their goal is to make that more of a universal connection, something that can go into anything. Because once high-speed charging hits the same standardization spec as outlets, then you'll be opening up an entirely new realm of connectivities. Because one of the limiting factors is that everything requires a different connection right now, or like 6 different adapters. And if you can recharge everything on the same lines, well, you can get more done, simply put. Here's a bit of a car. So they were actually testing out the speaker system inside the car. The speaker system inside the car probably sounded great. I have no idea. But I found it funny that they didn't actually bring a vehicle here. They brought in this, what I assume is an aluminum frame, to test out the speakers inside of. On one hand, I feel like actually having it in a real vehicle would be a better test of their equipment, because that would actually be a genuine test of what it sounds like in a car. On the other hand, I will admit that this caught my eye. It caught my eye because it was something weird. So you know what? Maybe it was a good idea for that. Maybe that was actually the best option they could have done. Car speakers are interesting. Oh yeah, and someone needs to tell this company that hashtags don't work on billboards. Like, what are you trying to do here? I'm sorry. Like, you have all these hashtags. No one cares about this on a billboard. These are completely useless. What are you trying to do? What does seeing a hashtag functional safety mean to some, like, did someone care about this? Did somebody see this and go, oh yeah, heck yeah, functional safety. I'm all about that. Because there's a hashtag here, I'm going to inquire upon this product. Did somebody, that's what I want to know. Did somebody? Oh yeah, here's another example of the supermassive vehicle. This is an electric drive, 450 kilowatt truck, pickup truck. And as I said before, what's your use case for this? It looks like it's being designed for a consumer market, but consumers shouldn't be driving these giant trucks. And the kind of consumer that wants that kind of truck usually isn't the kind of consumer that wants to be eco-conscious and focus on electric vehicles. I don't know. I don't really quite understand the target audience for this. No, go back. We must know what they meant by penetration testing. Oh, pen testing is actually a thing. Pen testing is a security term for breaking in. So if you are pen testing a building, it means that you are, with permission of the people in the building, trying to break into the building and evade their security. That's what pen testing or penetration testing means. It is absolutely an actual term. I don't know what else would be. Oh, so here's my here is my lunch of champions. I had both a Kit Kat bar and a Reese's peanut butter cup. You can penetration test the back door. Yes, actually, the most effective penetration tests are going in through employee entrances. That's usually the least secure method, and the one that most thieves are going to be focusing on, especially ones that are higher skilled, is to take either a back or a side or a staff door and go in. One of the easiest way to get inside of a building is to go out to where the employees are smoking and walk in with them. It's actually an extremely effective way to get inside the building. I should do a stream specifically about that sort of thing. Yeah, because I know a lot about that sort of security stuff. Hey, but what if they were just selling a V-Ride? What if they just straight up sold... Coming soon to North America, Hatsu Move with collab bots, Cutie Roid. Rebrand when? No. Customizable entertainment robot for VTubers, performances, fan interactions, and more. The idea here? Whole stream of penetration. Oh gosh. I'm trying to be coy about this, but you're making it hard. So the idea here is that you take this android robot, you customize it to your VTuber avatar, so you turn this into whatever VTuber has decided they're going to... Yeah, Chobits is real, exactly. Take this into, redesign it to be whatever VRoid model you have, and then you can use this at a convention to sign autographs. So you can use this put it in a chair, and let it talk to people mimicking your facial mocap. It looks terrible. This thing, they didn't even have one there. It was just a poster, and the person who was actually managing it wasn't actually there. But I'm going to reach out to these people just for sheer morbid curiosity. This collabbots.net. I'm going to look them up. I'm going to get back to you later on and see if this is actually a real thing, because I don't know. There were also more places that were just selling Vroid models. Like the idea of just selling, hey, hear me out. What if we made you a digital avatar? Huh? It's like, I have one. I'm a lizard. Like, pardon me. Like, Here is a radar system for a bicycle. It can track fall detection, it can track if there's people there, and it can track if there's, vehicles there. So that way you know, without a question or a doubt, before you get hit. That way, before you get hit, you're aware that you're about to get hit, which can really help your comfort level so you're not taken by surprise. That way you know what to expect, right? It's very important for cyclists, cyclist peace of mind. Because if you're going to get hit, you want advanced warning so that you can prepare yourself mentally and, make peace with your creator, right? I think it's a really good technology. I think it will help a lot of people. Here we have a cargo bike. I really like this design. Cargo bikes are a very important thing in cities, especially in cities with good bike infrastructure, places like the Netherlands. And the cargo section of this bike, this part here actually folds up when not in use. And this part here also does as well. So you can reduce the profile of your bike when you're not using it as a cargo bike, but this will let you take a week's worth of shopping in one bike trip. It also is an e-bike with an electronic assist, as well as having the pedals as well. So you have both the dual functionality. The range is long enough for you to be able to go to a store and come back, and I think this genuinely, something like this is going to run probably 6,000 to 8,000 or more, maybe even like as much as 9 or 10. But the thing is that this is going to be able to replace a car. This genuinely can replace a car in a city life. Like, being able to completely replace a car dependency with a effective bicycle that doesn't have the limitations on cargo space that most bicycles have is great. And that's not a new thing. There's already a lot of cargo bikes, and there's already e-cargo bikes. These are things that exist in countries that are cooler than my own. But this is a good design for one that can also function as your daily commuter bike. This is just a nicely designed cargo bike with e-bike functionality. And, well, I appreciate that. I just genuinely appreciate that. You know what else I appreciate? An electric surfboard. That's right, this is an electric surfboard. It's very thick. Now you might be saying, but Jade, you're supposed to ride the waves in. Why do you need an electric surfboard to ride the waves in? Well, this helps you get out to the waves, The genuine idea, the genuine pitch for this thing is that this is going to have a motor to push you out to the point where you can turn it around and surf the waves back in. For 10 grand. For 10 grand! For 10,000 grand dollar bucks is what they're asking for this product. I can't. That's $10,000 for an electric surfboard to push you out to where you can turn around and take a wave into the inland. I don't know. Maybe they have an audience for this. Maybe there's people who are just like lining up on the streets waiting for an electric surfboard. I don't see it. It has a little controller here. You can see that if you can stand up on the surfboard, you can use this to control it to make it go out. It goes like, I think they said it goes like 15 knots, which is not a terrible speed, but like, you're also going to be going against waves, because that's the part of the nature of, of bringing a surfboard back out to the surf, is you're going to be fighting the waves on the way in, which means you're usually not standing up on that part of the trip. Like, What are you trying to do here? Like, what's your goal? What? I mean, I guess the target market is people who own multiple yachts. Oh, wait, I forgot to push a thing. I forgot to push a button. Wait. Ah! I pushed the button. Okay, I'm good. Hi. Welcome back. Okay. So. Where am I? I got lost. I am so confused and lost right now. Ah, there we are. Okay. So. We have another bus. Everyone loves buses. This has been proven time and time again. It's another trolley. It's another trolley. It's just trolley. Everybody's trying to reinvent the 1900s trolley, the 1910s trolley. The idea of a little commuter bus that goes around a city that is electric, that will stop at various places to let people on and stop at other places to let them off. It's a good idea. That's why we should just bring them back. We never had to get rid of them to begin with. Trolleys can still exist. They always could have. All we need is to reduce the dependency on cars and cities, and this is I can't even say this is a bad idea. This is genuinely a good idea, because what could be a better idea than having a trolley to move around a city? This is good. I support this. It's just funny to look. It's kind of like the hypertunnel, right? It's kind of like the hypertunnel at the beginning of the episode, because I don't know. Chat, I don't know. I don't even know, chat. Meow. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay because we have a robot. Yep, that's right. It's a robot. What more could you ask for? It's a little kitty robot. And yeah, there's a little cargo robot as well. It's a little kitty robot. Isn't that adorable? I love it. It's fantastic. What else could you hope for aside from a little robot kitty? Meow. I think it's delightful. I think this is delightful. I don't even know what it's for. I don't even know why it exists. I don't know what use this or benefit this would provide, but you know what? Seeing a little robot kitty look at me, go meow, meow, and then turn around, warmed my day. It filled my heart with joy after seeing all of the ridiculous stuff that, well, isn't always needed. It felt good to see. It brought me joy and happiness. And really, isn't that what technology is meant to do? Okay, so here let's talk philosophy. The future of artificial intelligence. Subconscious and conscious, thought processing, existence and understanding, mental reactions, physical reality, mind and soul, the idea of understanding thought, cognition. This is the most useless thing I saw at CES. Now, I love the idea of this. The idea of turning artificial intelligence into actual artificial consciousness is great. But they are not doing that. You know what they're doing here? I'll give you a hint what they're doing here. Nothing. I talked to them, and they just had some general stuff about, oh yeah, the AIs are becoming stronger, and we should work on ways to, help them, help AIs become actual intelligences. Cool. Do you have an answer for the Chinese box theory? Do you have a thought? What are your opinions on adding multiple layers of subconscious thought into a conscious avatar? How do you really redefine the idea of a thought process as something that can be externalized beyond Plato's cave, beyond the simply a regurgitation of information? They had no answers. They didn't even have any thoughts. They didn't even really want to discuss the philosophy. It was a booth dedicated to the philosophy of artificial intelligence. And as somebody who has researched the philosophy of artificial intelligence, I was extraordinarily disappointed to try to talk to them about some of these theories and have them just stare at me blankly like, huh. We're just trying to start a conversation. It's like, I'm trying to start a conversation, hopefully with somebody who knows what they're talking about. And they didn't. At least I ate well today. Here's another cool looking car. You guys like cars, right? Do you guys like cars? Did you guys like the car content before? Here's another car that looks kind of cool. It can probably go vroom. Actually, it's probably electric and doesn't go vroom. So never mind. You know what? I take it back. It probably doesn't go vroom at all. Let's see here. Oh yeah. Wait. Robot Boba. I had... Where is it? I had this robot make me boba tea. And it was, Toro? The... I forget what it is. It's a little, like, vanilla-y. And it took it, it filled it up. Yeah, it filled up the ice and the boba, and it put it onto a surface where it mixed and then blended the two together. They misspelled my name. That's the real authenticity. That's how you know it's so close to humanity, is because it misspelled my name exactly as if I was in the shop. There's actually is on the blender. And then when it's near done, the little serving bot comes out and says, okay, I'm ready for the thing. Now, mine was actually fairly big on the order. The person put in a ton of the boba balls. And then it automatically put it into the machine here that causes it to have a weird lid on it. I forget what the lid's called. And that's the name. You know how you've had boba, you know what I'm talking about. And then simultaneously, it also cleaned out the mixer that it was using. And there's my boba. I think that one's mine. I don't know if that's actually mine, but like... Oh, maybe. I couldn't read. And then the person came over, and it should be automated so that the robot puts it on the tray, but they didn't have that set up at the moment, so they just wheeled it over. Well, I guess that was this person's. Well, I hope they enjoyed their boba, because I enjoyed mine. It's just a example of an automation that... How to phrase? Also, I like that it was clout tea. I mean, I definitely need some clout tea. If anyone has some clout tea for me, let me know. But I like this type of automation. I think it worked very well. Oh, be sure to like the video, by the way. If you're watching, you should consider liking the video. The boba was also basically my lunch. Okay, so. Drone. What about a Roomba for snow? This is a fantastic idea. It is a snowblower that is completely self-powered. It has its own treads, and it just goes around like a Roomba does, except it blows snow out of the way. That's a brilliant idea. I saw this in a previous year as well, and I still think it's fantastic. They've made some refinements in it, and like for snowblowing specifically, there's so many factors involved that make this extremely impressive. The fact that it's not going to freeze, the fact that it can still see while blowing snow into the air, the fact that it is going to be able to recognize its pathing and make its way around to blow all the snow off of an area, while simultaneously, you know, not being able to see the ground because it's a snowblower, because this, you only can use it when there's multiple inches of snow. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but the nice thing about it is that it can go out early, right? You can send this thing out when the snow begins to fall, and just have it keep on running until the snow's done. Even if you get a good 4 foot or 6 foot snowfall, this thing is going to be able to manage all of it. I like it. I'm very happy to see that. Oh, want to see something cursed? I know you do. What if you could take this robot here and turn it into a perfectly reasonable facsimile of an actual person? Now you might be saying, but Jade, there's no way that you can make a realistic simulation of a person using a head like that. Well, I am here to prove you actually kind of...
You live?
How are you?
Doing great. How yourself?
Wow, so real.
I'm doing good.
Good to hear.
It says it right here. This,
You live? How are you? Doing great. How yourself?
It's 4 cell phones.
I'm doing good.
It's just 4 cell phones. Kind of mapping this dude's head. Kind of? And they're talking as like, oh yeah, this is the future because you can actually move your head and show you expressions and like, my dude, we don't need this. This is not going to make the experience of talking to somebody better. This is going to make me run away screaming. So I ran away and screamed. Ah, here we go. This right here is another Vroid. This right here is another, quite literally, they were talking about the benefits of being able to map yourself onto a 3D model and how powerful that could be as a technology. And being able to use this as a virtual avatar. And they're like, have you gone over there and tried the technology of mapping yourself onto an avatar? I'm like, I already have an avatar. I'm a lizard. What am I supposed to say? Like, what is this for? This is just not. And look at this too. Like, there's a weird albedo on the skin. The hair has some metallics in it. It's not even a good Vroid. I wouldn't even watch this VTuber. It's bad. And their goal is to make this a receptionist. Their goal is to use this as a virtual receptionist in a hotel. And like, I don't see the benefit. I don't see what this is going to... I don't know. I just don't see it. I'm clearly not enlightened enough to understand the genuine machinations of this. Okay, let's talk VR. These are VR haptic feedback gloves. This was simultaneously one of the most interesting and worst experiences I had at the event. I'm adorable, that's just creepy. I mean, yeah, like, they should focus on adorability. That's very important. Adorability is key. Adorability is paramount to the entire situation. If you're not cute, then what's the point? Sorry. Hi. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so the idea here is that these are haptic feedback gloves that will interact with the virtual environment. And right now they're enterprise level. They're like $4,000 a piece, but they're working. But eventually they're planning on helping to create a consumer version, and nothing worked. I feel bad. I really do feel bad for them because the product that they made as they made it was barely functional. They had their setup. You put on a VR headset. The VR headset had hand tracking, and the hand tracking moved, tracked the hands. And then the hand's position would occasionally bump into objects in the virtual world, and then it would constrict the fingers back so that you couldn't move your finger down through an object. And on paper, it sounds like a good idea. Unfortunately, they had the hand tracker tied to the helmet, so when you turned your head, the hands moved with the head. When I have hand tracking, and I really hoped I had hand tracking to talk about this, but I don't. But when I have hand tracking, I attach my hands to a vest, a harness, a chest harness, so the hand tracker is on my chest, and it tracks my hands in front of me. And I suggested this to them, and they're like, oh yeah, that's a really good idea. I'm like, yeah, it is. You should have thought of this. I'm literally using the same hand tracker that you guys are, and this is not it. This ain't it, Chief. And then on top of that, this unit lost connection to the headset multiple times, and even in world, it wasn't always giving the haptic feedback on objects. I ended up talking with these people for a while. I ended up probably spending a good 40 minutes talking to these people because I have an interest in VR. I've done some development for VR. I've done some a lot of research into VR, and I am personally a VR enthusiast. I think that VR is fantastic. And I like the idea of this. I like the idea of what they're trying to create. But it's so far from being viable, and it just needs to be viable by the time that VR is viable. And VR is not yet viable. I hate to say it, but there's no real reason to develop for VR right now. The headsets are not going down in price. The headsets are still extremely expensive. And until we get the headsets cheaper, we're never going to hit the adoption rates necessary for VR to truly succeed. And for VR to succeed, it needs to be something that the average person can pick up and buy, and then the accessories for it need to be on the same price point as that. Nobody's making content for VR because not enough people have headsets. Not enough people have headsets because people aren't making content for VR. It's a catch-22. It goes back and forth and back and forth. People aren't buying headsets because there isn't a lot of content. There isn't a lot of content because there isn't a big enough marketplace. And the way that that's going to be fixed, the way that's going to be resolved, is when the headsets are cheap enough for more people to buy them, and the adoption rate goes up simply because of availability. And that will attract more developers to make a better quality products. And then alongside those better products, you get a arms race of people buying them more, and then VR will succeed. But until the headsets come down in price, I'm afraid that this, along with VR itself, is probably going to stay stagnant. And I hate to say that because I do love it. So I was in this car thing here, when I noticed, find your Kazalmon. What? What is this thing? What am I looking at? Okay, find my Kazalmon? I guess I'll find my Kazalmon then. I went over there, and it's a health service. I started going into the health and wellness section at that point. And what it is an app. This isn't mine. This is somebody who had a gazelle. I did the test, and my test came out as a jaguar. You'll be very happy and proud to know that I'm a jaguar. So what it does is you answer a handful of questions. Oh my gosh, it does kind of look like Fall Guys. Yeah, now that you mention it. And it sort of gives you these ideas of your health risks and health assessments. So, this isn't mine again. This is just someone's gazelle. But I like the idea of this. The idea is that you have a cute little thing and it's sort of like a Tamagotchi, but the Tamagotchi's you, right? There is a gazelle, koala, eagle, elephant, bear, squirrel, raccoon, and jaguar. I was the jaguar. It also didn't shame me for my entries, because I entered that I liked, that I like food, and I would have a donut over a health bar, and I was expecting it to shame me for that. I was expecting it to say, "Oh, you should have the healthy option, or you'll die." It's like, no. It's like, hey, as long as you work out enough, for the food, then go for it. It's like, oh, cool. I expected it to be a lot more aggressive in its handling of that. There were no reptiles, tragically. Hey, do you have a Jeep, but wish you had a pickup truck? Well, I have the answer to that very specific problem. It's a Jeep extension that gives you a lot. There's a lot going on here. I don't know how this works. I don't know anything. These are power generators. I think there's solar panels up on top. Like, I think up here are solar panels. This is just, the tire. It adds, a good 2 meters to your vehicle length. It basically feels like it just is a way to turn your Jeep into a pickup truck. Also, YouTube is having a normal one. I can see 4 people talking in chat, and it says I have 2 people watching, so make sure to leave a like and a comment so that I know that people are watching, because that would mean the world to me. Alright, what else do we have? Alright, I have a great idea for you. I have a fantastic idea. Hear me out. Hear me out. What if you could use your blood to access your Bitcoin wallet? Does that sound good? Does that sound like what you're looking for? I bet it is. Yeah, it uses biometric data to access your NFTs. I don't... Okay, we can move on. We don't need to give them the time of day. Oh yeah, there was somebody who was actually selling a Bitcoin miner. World's first all-in-one immersion miner. And yep, it genuinely was that. It was a Bitcoin miner that you could fully submerge. Where is it? One sec. Here you go. It's a fully immersive Bitcoin miner. This is not going to help anybody because Bitcoin isn't really profitable. B is hilariously falling apart right now. I kind of wish I was like, on the wall when they were like, oh yeah, we scheduled CES like 6 months ago, and then now it's like, oh no. But the other thing is, wow, this is useless exactly. Here's the other thing. 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 You know how you make money on Bitcoin? Do you know how you make money mining Bitcoin? You make money mining Bitcoin by doing it in a place that has cheaper electricity bills. No, really, that's actually the what you should be doing. If you want to mine Bitcoin, you don't do it where you are. You do it in Kazakhstan or Greenland or some country that has cheap electricity, because otherwise you're going to be losing money by paying your electric bill. The amount of money you make on Bitcoin will not be enough to offset the amount of money that you are spending on electricity because of the Bitcoin that you're mining. And I don't really see a real success path for this. Yeah, I guess if you are in a place where you can order 6,000 of these, maybe, but like, I don't think that's I don't think that's who the target audience is. And yeah, sure, this is stable, silent, low maintenance, high density Bitcoin miner. But they're also talking about it being for home use. And it's like, no, if you are using it in your home, you are not making money on Bitcoin. That's just not how Bitcoin works. I hate to tell you this, but it's not. Okay, friends. Are you ready for this? AI Scalp Diagnosis Solutions Rutonics NFT. I love this because you can see so clearly what they're doing. It's so transparent. Their target audience is middle-aged men who are self-conscious about losing their hair and also gullible enough to buy NFTs. Quite literally, it's a scalp massager. It's just a scalp massager. Like, that's all it is volume boost. No, it's a scalp massager. It massages your scalp and in theory can help hair growth. And then they tied the subscription service, because of course it has a subscription service, right, to an NFT, and you have to have the NFT to enter their Discord server to create a community of people like yourself. Middle-aged men who are self-conscious about hair loss and gullible enough to buy an NFT. It's just so obvious what they're going for. And sad. It's obvious and sad, both these things. It's both obvious and sad. The actual product itself is just a simple scalp massager. The fact that it's like being marketed as an NFT thing and a membership drive at that? Membership service providing hair loss and scalp care solutions based on AI diagnostic service. They're in there for the buzzword. They had to say AI because it's CES 2023. Like, yeah, it's so transparent, right? It's so obviously a scam that I genuinely feel bad for everybody who signed up for it. Like, genuinely, I actually genuinely feel bad for them. Let's see, this is more in the health and wellness section, mind you. I'm not sure what this is, and nobody would tell me. I think it's like it's for cardio training, but I'm not quite sure how. The first time you went for a run, you couldn't last more than 3 minutes either. And it's connected to an app, and I'm not really sure how this is supposed to work, but nobody would explain it to me as a small lizard. I don't know. I'm assuming it's cardio training, probably. Right? That's gotta be it. That's gotta be it. Let's see, what else happened? Does he... Tezzy figured it out in real time. Amazing to watch. Alright, so I want you to try to figure out with me. I want you to try to solve this solution here. Get real-time data on 9 wellness parameters in 90 seconds. Magnesium, water, vitamin C, calcium, pH, ketones, protein, oxidative stress, and sodium levels. All of these. You can get information about all these in one brief moment. Oh, here's the product. It's a spectral analysis of your urine. It will analyze your urine on the way into the toilet to figure out all these health things. I actually like this. I think this is a good idea. Especially if for the medical field, if for like hospitals. Because some patients can't pee in a cup, right? Some patients have difficulty getting their the motor function necessary to do that and have difficulty working with a nurse to be able to get it either. This is a very easy way for anybody who can get to a toilet with assistance to have a urinalysis handled for them. It's a really good idea. Just the general idea that you can pull so much biometric data out without actually having contact with the fluid, I think is a very impressive technology that will have a lot of use cases, you know? Let's see. One sec. So here's something for livestock, I assume. It gives you data for your roosters by Bluetooth. Let me... Yeah, I didn't really quite track how they were gathering this information. I didn't really see how the companion app worked. But if you have a lot of hens and roosters and other livestock, this is going to be invaluable for you, probably. I guess that you have to know how firm they. Okay, I'm just going to move on. We're going to skip this one. We're going to skip this one for now. Okay, yeah. Anyways, moving on. Here's what I had for dinner. I just ate the popcorn. Actually, for dinner, I actually had some curry and it was delightful. But for at the convention space, what Buck, please, what? It's fine. So, this place was actually selling a new way to give yourself eye medication. Instead of... Let me just drop this behind things. Instead of giving eye drops, it aerosolizes a spray directly into your eye. Eat a meal your flight of base. Do it, coward. Do it, coward, and then we can go hiking together. It'll be great. So. What they're doing here, aside from selling popcorn, although that is a fantastic way to get people into their booth, because I'm sure I'm not the only person there who forgot to have breakfast or lunch, but they aerosolize medications directly into your eyeball faster than you can blink instead of using eye drops. Because eye drops are terrifying. I hate eye drops. I can't even really use eye drops because my eye sees them and just flinches. I flinch before I can even squeeze the tube. And what this does is you hold this up to your eye, and it will just spritz into your eye and give you the proper dosage in the proper location. They were saying that glaucoma patients, it's fairly common for optometrists to see people emptying their medications in the parking lot and then saying, oh yeah, no, I took it regularly. This also will notify your doctor every time you take your meds to make sure that you're taking them at the proper dosage at the proper time. I think that there's a lot of value in this technology. It just spritzes into your eye and gives you the proper dosage. And also because most of what you put into your eye by droplets is either washed away or falls to the side or is rinsed out in tear ducts, you need a lot less medication if it's being applied with a direct target in like this. So I think that the idea of this is fantastic. And I wouldn't have learned about it if they didn't have popcorn. I would have skipped this place over. I would have just completely ignored it if they didn't have popcorn. But I needed some popcorn, otherwise I was going to die literally at CES. And I can't do that. If I'm gonna die, it's gonna be on YouTube because it'll be great content. If I die, I promise it'll be here. But this I think was a really nice product, and I needed the popcorn to survive because I was flagging. I was not the healthiest at this point. But here's a cool mask. A clear skin revive mask. LED light therapy. Literally, it's just shooting red LED lights at your face. There were multiple places that were selling something of this concept. These LED light masks. Or LED facelift stuff. Or LED hair reduction. And it's just sort of like this snake oil effect. Where, oh wow, red LEDs can just solve anything, can't they? And really, they can use it for hair loss? Cool. You can use it for hair growth? Cool. You can use it to make sure that your skin is more tight and firm? Cool. Do you have any scientific backing for all of this? Because I'd be very curious to see the research. Because if that's true, then we should just live in a bath of red LED light for our entire lives, and we could just become immortal. And I'm not saying this to shame Luster or any of the individual companies that are selling these things. It's just so awkward to see it being used as a very clear cure-all, right? When they have 5 different treatments that all use red LEDs, and I question the scientific merit of that, because if it were true, if it were scientifically merited, then every household in the world should be outfitted in red LEDs at all times, because that is going to be the healthiest thing for all of us, right? Replace all of your lights in your house with red LEDs. Replace all of your cosmetics with red LEDs. No, that doesn't work. Why doesn't that work? Well, because it's more psychological than physical. There was also a tinnitus. I don't have a picture of it because they didn't really have a product. But there was also a tinnitus stand, and I found that kind of cool. They had a way of detecting tinnitus. I've had tinnitus all my life, if you didn't know that. I actually have tinnitus. It's just background audio in my ears. There's no time where it's not a constant audio pitch in my head 24/7. It's just a constant. I live with it. I don't suffer from it. It's not so loud that it blocks out other noise, and it's not so annoying that it makes my brain snap any more than it already clearly has, but it's just something that I've lived with. So seeing a booth of people who are working towards treating tinnitus was cool. They didn't really have any specifics though. They didn't have any specifics of how they were treating tinnitus. And I think it's mostly and I will look into it more because I don't know a lot about tinnitus therapy because I've never sought it out. Because it's not like a disability for me. It is for some people. It absolutely is for some people. It has the potential to be a disability. For me, it's not. So for me, it's just an annoyance. Alright, we are near the end, but I only have a couple more left. And then the next one is a full body stim suit. This is a body TENS unit, effectively. It's a suit that they actually recommended it for being worn while exercising. Wow. Wellness accelerated. Their pitch for it is that wearing this suit while exercising can make a 20-minute workout as effective as a several-hour workout. Now, there's a strong statement to be made that several-hour-long workouts are not healthy for you. No, really, they're not. If you have to work out for several hours, that's not healthy in general. So I don't really know how they're pulling those numbers, but at the same time, the idea is sound. You have TENS units that are exercising your muscles while you're exercising your muscles. And frankly, sure, why not? TENS units will constrict your muscles. It just causes your muscles to tense up and relax, which is a form of exercise. It's a form of uncontrolled exercise. You are not doing it. The electricity is using it to stimulate your muscles, and it is giving you the effect of exercise. Genuinely, it actually is genuinely giving you the effect of exercise because your muscles are doing the work. I kind of want to experiment with this. I kind of want a TENS unit that I can wear that can, give me a workout while I'm sitting at my desk. Because functionally, mechanically, I don't see why that doesn't work. It's not like I think that TENS units are used as a snake oil for some things, like TENS units for stress or TENS units for muscle relaxing. Maybe I guess are pretty useful. But I see a lot of TENS units being sold for migraine relief. It's I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know if there's any studies about that have actually tested it. But for exercise and for working out, absolutely. This is literally just working out your muscles. Now, I don't think this is... TENS units should be cheap, right? TENS units are not terribly expensive things. And these are suits that are going to be costing well over $1,000. So I don't know that this is necessarily a cost-effective suit solution. But at the same time, I think that it is very cool, frankly. I think that it is a good idea that is viable and is genuine. I don't think that this is fake or anything. I don't think that there's any falsity here. And in the health section, there are things that I do think about that. There are things that I saw in the health section that make me go, not certain about that one. A second. Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba. I saw Google from afar. I didn't have an appointment, so this is as close as I could get to their Android wagon. That was it. This is it. I came in, I saw this, and I left. So I don't really have a whole lot of story about that. But then, my missed opportunity is I did not actually get Truckanyaki. I regret it. I will regret that for this entire trip, and maybe I'll be able to get it tomorrow. But I did not actually have Truckanyaki for lunch. And, well, the lamentation is real. Look at this. Look at how amazing this is. Japanese burritos? Like, I'm in. I want this. Absolutely want this to, like, it looks delicious. Tomorrow, if I have the opportunity, I'm going to have truckanyaki, and I will report back on it. I promise you that. That is a promise from me to you. A Kobold promise about truckanyaki. And that do be about that. I want to thank you all for joining me on this trip. I will show you more tomorrow as I go through some of the last halls and the last sections of the area. I, for one, am excited. I had a blast so far, and I'm going to go and see what other new tech there. I'm thinking that... Wait, what? You'd say something, but at least it's better than a day of nothing but candy and popcorn. I mean, I'm healthy. I'm perfectly healthy, thank you very much, okay? I am, in fact, the healthiest. I am completely healthy. So healthy. So very healthy. Okay, look, I'm fine. It's great. And I had a good time, and really, what more could you ask for, right? Yeah. Let's see. Is there any questions? Do you guys have any questions or thoughts or brain thoughts or things? Because I could answer questions about CES. Or do you guys just want to see more weird stuff? If there's more weird stuff, I will have to show you tomorrow. You know, one more thing that, the firmness one, the firm tech one, they had a hat that said "Make America Firm Again" on a red hat, and some dude came up and was like, "I like your hat." Yeah, and it's just like, oh my goodness, buddy, you are playing into all the worst stereotypes. You just okay. You have a good time with your firmness hat. Where do babies come from?